In this video, I spent 100 days in Minecraft gathering resources and fighting some of Minecraft's most dangerous mobs, all to build this huge castle. This is the craziest video I've ever done on this channel, so you're going to want to stick around. My name is Legend, and let's get started. Day 0 started out with me spawning in this taiga beach, but I didn't want to be in a taiga, so I headed towards this plains where immediately I killed 3 sheep because I wanted a bed. I was not going to survive my first night outside, and I just wanted to have a bed. Now, I grabbed some wood from a local tree and headed toward the plain where I saw this big mountain, and I decided I want to build my castle on that mountain. So, that's what I was going to do, but first I needed to do some mining. So, I went into this cave and grabbed a load of iron, which I smelted and made some armor with, but I wanted to beat the game as fast as possible to get an elytra. And to do that, we had to make another portal and go to the Nether, and this actually took me quite a while, so I won't make you watch all of it. Here's a jump cut, and I'm in the Nether. Whoa, it's a day 1, and we're going to the Nether. Pretty great. But we got a pretty bad spawn, but that didn't matter because I started pillaring over towards this crimson biome where I was hoping to find some piglins, but I just found hoglins. Thankfully, I was able to trade with one of these piglins, but he dropped nothing, and I only had like 4 gold. So I decided just to get out of there and start towards this direction where, oh, there was a bastion. And this was a pretty lucky find, and this is actually going to give me a ton of gold. As you can see here, I mined a ton of this gold from the bastion, almost died, and was able to trade with these piglins for about, like, watch. I traded with these guys for about 2 days, and I got enough ender pearls, and I headed off in a random direction, and Nether Fortress. I was getting pretty lucky, and we were only 4 days in. I might have enough for some Eyes of Ender. So we pillared over there, and we're actually able to find quite a few good items. We found some iron in that chest. We found some other diamonds and stuff, and then this happened. This was extremely close. If I had placed that block half a second later, I would have died. But we found a blaze spawner, and I was able to get a ton of blaze rods. This was actually worked out really well. It was quite easy, and I got out of there pretty fast. Now it was time to find the Stronghold. I headed back to the portal, and threw my first Eye of Ender. So I threw my first Eye of Ender and followed it. I ended up crossing this big ocean, going over a ton of mountains. I was in the ocean, keep thinking, oh, is that a stronghold? No, that's not a stronghold. What about that? Nope. But before I knew it, I found it. It was just under these dark oak trees, and I managed to find the portal room right away because it was a tiny stronghold. I destroyed this spawner thingy, placed the Eye of Ender in place, to realize something. I was 2 eyes short, so I went into the stronghold and started searching. I ended up finding this library where I got some enchanted books, found this dungeon with a music disc, which I end up using later, and the last 2 eyes, which I put in place and prepared to enter the end. But first, of course, I had to set my spawn. I do not want to die in this place, and if I do, I at least want to respawn right near the portal. So, I hopped in and began the fight. I spawned a little ways out on this little platform, so I began shooting the ender crystals. Unfortunately, I couldn't see the ender crystals, but now I could. So, I started shooting, and because I'm a terrible shot, it took me about 8 tries, which was a little annoying. But I ended up taking down most of the towers before this happened. Yeah, this was pretty annoying. I don't know how I could have survived this. That was pretty much instant death. What was that? Thankfully, I set my spawn and I could get right back into it, only to realize, yep, I was stuck on the island. I didn't have any blocks, so my only choice was to jump into the void. This might have been a little annoying. This might have annoyed me a little bit, but it's fine. It's only our second death. And I respawned in my bed, and before I knew it, I was able to get back to my stuff and continue the fight, which didn't take that long because the Ender Dragon's generally pretty easy mob once you kill all the crystals, and it's a very boring fight, so I'm not going to show you. Now all I had to do was grab the XP, grab the dragon egg, and I could head back home and prepare to search for an end city. The first thing I did was grab some food. That was really the main thing I was lacking at the moment. I killed some cows, cooked up the beef, and was back into the end. I searched out one of the gateways. I found one, and I teleported through it, where I got a pretty unlucky spawn, and it took me quite a while to find that end city, but eventually I did, and it was a pretty decent sized one. It had an end boat, it had some shulkers, which were pretty annoying, but I killed some of those guys and got my elytra. This was pretty exciting, as an elytra was going to make the building process so much easier. Now all I had to do was fly to one of those gateways and head back home so we could begin building our castle. This was gonna be amazing, and with our elytra, this is gonna be a much faster process. But before we can do any of that, before we can start building, we have to mine, which is what I did for day 11 and the next few days to come. Mining is pretty boring content. It's really hard to make interesting content out of mining. That's why you just hear me rambling on about how interesting mining isn't. But I managed to get some iron, some redstone stuff, and oh, I got an enchantment set up too. This was pretty cool. Yeah, but you guess what I did next? Oh, I got an axolotl too. That was pretty cool. But I bet you can't guess what I did next after finding this ravine. I bet you can't guess what exciting thing happened. Oh, it's mining. Yeah, I love mining. Mining is so much fun here. I don't like mining. Mining is kind of boring. But it's alright, because we need resources, and that's what I did day 14 too. We have a bit of a problem in this world. A food problem. I am constantly hungry in this world, and I need to build some sort of way of getting food. But first, we gotta do a tiny bit more mining, because I'm not done quite yet. Now, I grabbed a bunch of leaves, because this was for our next project. I wanted to make a big cow pen. So I grabbed a ton of leaves and began the build. I just made this simple little outline of leaves and filled it up a little bit more. I've used this design tons of times for crops and stuff, and this will be a good place to store all of our cows. However, now we need to make one more thing to breed the cows. We needed a wheat field, so I made a tiny little wheat field that I can expand upon when I get more seeds, but for now, this will do just fine. Now it was day 20 already, and you know what that meant. And I was really excited about this. More mining. Oh yeah, more mining. Yay. Yay, time lapse of me mining. So exciting. Look at all those diamonds, all those stone, all that deep slate. Mining is just the greatest thing ever to come to Minecraft. I'm so happy I got to do this for 30 plus days. 30, what are you talking about? Anyways, now we need stone. So I smelted some stone and searched for our final ingredient to begin building: moss. I need to get moss, and right now we can only get moss from shipwrecks. You're probably watching this a few weeks in the future where you can find moss everywhere because 1.18, but no, I have to get it from the shipwrecks. And inside the first shipwreck I found, actually, there were 5 pieces of moss, which was really nice. So we headed back immediately and we're ready to begin our first build, which was this little entrance. And this was just designed so I could show you guys exactly what kind of build style I'm going for. And I don't finish it all in this time lapse, but you'll be able to see in a second here. I used some moss for the bottom, put a little doorway, and finish it off with some towers. I also needed to make some paths to connect the place. I added even more detail to the thing, and it was done, and it looked quite good. This is how I want the rest of the castle to look, and I think it's going to turn out great. I know it's going to turn out great because I'm already done. I'm future Legendcraft. But now we needed to lay out the area, and I started with just some simple walls, and we'd fill in the inside eventually. Now we need to harvest our wheat field once again. I have managed to fill up the entire thing, which is quite nice. I bred some of the cows, which are really building up, by the way. This is going to be a lot of food when we come to it. Look at all these cows. Okay, that's not that many cows, but soon there will be. Now we need to build a wall so I can continue designing the thing, because we're on day 39. We're almost halfway through and we have almost nothing built. Will we be able to finish it in time? I don't know. We'll have to see. We're gonna have to find out. Do I finish it in time? I wonder. But I also built this thing next to it. I didn't have a time lapse of it, but I built that on day 40. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a little tower, but with like the roof on it. Yeah, so cool. Wow. And it has like a gradient and stuff. That's great. But now we needed to do something else. And that something else was this wall and this tower and breeding these cows, because these cows looked hungry and I needed food as well. I also built the stairway to where the main entrance is going to be. Now it was time to begin work on some little paths as well as a lot of detail on the sides. And I decided, why not play my nice little music disc? So I played this music disc, got to work planting some crop fields and building some more to the base. Now it was day 50, and I got a good look at our castle on day 50, and it was looking pretty cool. The walls were looking nice, but we were still missing a lot in the back. So I knew what we had to do right away. That's right, moss collecting, my favorite thing now. This is even better than mining. We place moss on the ground and we mine it. It's so great. I do that a lot, but I also build on the inside. I built some nice little buildings and it ended up looking like this. I think it was pretty cool. I don't have many time lapses of it, but that's what I built on the inside there. It's quite nice. I have a little storage system in there now. And oh look, I'm making another roof, but now I'm replacing these berries for some reason. Oh, that's great. And building more roofs because there's a lot of roofs I had to build. Detailing is also very important when I'm doing this, so I made sure to add details wherever I could, building even more houses to the inside. Day 50 through 60 was building a ton of houses, but then a creeper blew them up and I had to start all over. Just kidding. But now we had to build the grand hall, the throne room, the great entrance with a diamond block to show how rich I am because of how much mining I did. Wow, that's great, and it looked pretty good. But I wanted to do the inside, and the inside needed some crimson wood and some basalt for the floors. So that's what I did. It was really laggy going into the nether, as you can see, but I was able to grab some of the warp stuff I need, not warped, crimson stuff I needed, as well as mining some basalt. And before we knew it, we had enough to build our nice little throne entrance thing. But that was only half the building. So I also filled it in with some more basalt and stuff, and I was able to make this nice little thing that you will see here in a second. I'm pretty bad at interiors, so don't judge it too much. My strong suit is more of castles and stuff. As you can see, I put it on a sign day 60. I suck at interiors, which is weird because it was day 65. I'm not sure what I was thinking. But now it's time to do some more mining because we got to expand this thing even more. We've done a lot, but we're still not done. Now it was time to build another one of those tower thingies, and I ended up building this thing right over here, as you can see in this nice little time lapse. And our castle is actually looking pretty complete, so this is looking good. I only have a little bit more to do. And, well, I have a lot more to do, but that still doesn't matter. And there's pillagers in the walls, which was a little bit weird. But we got to even more building. And for some reason, I decided it'd be a good idea to fill this entire area with moss. I thought it'd look cool. Also, I thought it'd be a good way of getting moss, which it was kind of both. But now I had enough moss to continue building up the castle. I only had a few more walls to do, so I finished some of these things, and it's starting to look pretty good. I'm very excited where this is going, and I also made some windows for these pillager guys on day 69. I'm not quite sure why. I thought they might need a view. Anyways, I built up this last little piece, and I was done with the entire wall of the castle. There was still a ton of detail to do. But now, what I'm doing right now is actually building up a bit of a shrine for our dragon egg up in this corner. I thought it'd be a kind of nice detail to add. I'm not quite sure why I did, but it's nice. It's there. And that's where the dragon egg is going to be for the rest of eternity on this Minecraft world. So that's cool. Anyways, I placed that dragon egg on top, detailed the area out a little bit more, and just began adding details to the rest of the build. I needed a lot of windows, a lot of leaves, a ton of stuff just like that. But there was a problem. There's a stupid Enderman who was inside of my walls for like the past 10 days, just ripping out the moss and placing it in a pile. So every time I had to come back here and replace all the moss. I didn't kill the Enderman for some reason. I just left him there and he kept doing it. But now we harvested some more wheat, bred some of our cows. Oh, there is a lot of cows now, and they are extremely loud. Now I wanted to add a few more rooms to the throne room because I could and I wanted to. So I built this little bedroom dorm thing, and on the other side I built a nice little thing, which you will see in a second. I built this little greenhouse thing with some leaves and some sweet berries, and this also looks cool. This is how the city gets their food, I guess. And I got a nice little view of the place. Day 75, 3/4 of the way through. This is great. But now I bred even more. Oh, there's so many cows now. And I grabbed some leaves from a local tree because I wanted to build a tree of my own. I wanted to build a custom tree right outside of the build. So that's just what I did. I'm not really too good at these. I'm not really real familiar with building trees, but I was able to build something I'm actually quite happy with. And it might look not so great right now, but trust the process. And there it is. It looks actually pretty decent. I tried to add some like tiers to it, and that looked pretty cool. Now I headed off in this direction because I needed some sugarcane. I wanted to make a sugarcane field, and I got a ton of sugarcane, grabbed some water, made some waterfalls, and began placing sugarcane and leaves all around it just like this. This turned out really, really good. Now it was day 80, and I was almost. I just put almost on the sign. I don't know why, but I just continued to detail this area for the next few days, and I thought it looked pretty good. I just bone milled stuff, built some more trees, built some more paths, stuff like that, just to give the area a bit more life. Now we had to return to the Nether because I had this crazy idea. I wanted to beat the Wither for day 100. I wanted a beacon, and I thought the best way to do that would be to head to the Nether fortress and search for Wither skeleton. Unfortunately for me, luck was not on my side today. I searched all over this place and was having such a hard time finding Wither skeletons, and when I did, they didn't drop to their school. I did this for about 2 days or so, and then I realized this wasn't gonna work. So I decided just to give up. Shortly after, this blaze just sniped me out of nowhere like 100 blocks away, but I headed back feeling defeated until I realized there might be something I can do. If I can get like a pig step music disc from this bastion here, this might actually be worth it. So the next few days, that's what I did. I might not have found the pig step music disc, but I did find a lodestone, which is gonna look great in my build. So I headed back home and planted the lodestone right up in the front where everyone could see it, and I'm glad I found that. It's no music disc, but it'll do. And on day 83, I built this nice little dead tree thing. I'm not quite sure why, but I thought it would add a lot of detail to the area, and I think it looks pretty nice. Also, on day 84, I tamed a horse. It's very cool. And I just drove around on it for a while, and then I realized I'm gonna need some paths for this thing, and a stable. So I grabbed some resources down in the mine, and I began building a little stable thing where I could keep the horse so it doesn't run away. In my other world, Islandcraft, all my horses just ran away constantly, so this was gonna be a huge help. Now, the stable was done, but I needed something else to put in the stable, so I grabbed a chicken and a dog. I'm not sure why I grabbed a chicken and a dog, but I put the chicken in the stable and set the dog down next to it. Not sure what the dog's name is, but it's there. And now I left the castle not one last time, because we were going to grab a path. We're going to make a path all the way around this place, and it took me most of day 89 and day 90 where I said horse time on a sign. Why did I say that on a sign? I don't know. But then I drove around on my horse for the entirety of day 90 because I was trying to think of something to do for the last 10 days. And then I realized what I could do. I could fix the wall because the stupid Enderman in the wall kept taking the moss. So I patched up the wall, and I'm sure he was going to do it again. In fact, he did do it again. And then on day 91, I climbed to the top of this mountain where I thought, maybe I could build a little watchtower here so I could look at my base whenever I wanted, and I could use this for day 100. So that's what I did. I built this nice, tiny little watchtower thing. Just a little 5x5, added some detail to it, and I went back down because I had one more build in mind. a giant storage system. It doesn't look that big in this time lapse, but it does get a little bit bigger. So I cleared out this entire area and started detailing it like the rest of the castle with some basalt, some stone, some moss, and I think it turned out a really cool design. I like this place a lot, and it's going to be useful if we ever come back here for 200 days. And subscribe and like this video if you think we should do 200 days. This is a big video. Should I do 200 days? Let me know. Anyways, I finished detailing it, and now all I needed was some chests and item frames. So I got a ton of wood from some local trees. I don't think they minded. And I placed a lot of chests. This is probably like a few hundred chests at least, maybe 1,000 chests. I don't even know, but this is a lot of chests. Now we need some item frames. So I did on day 98 the thing I was wanting to do this whole series: kill some cows and kill a creeper for rockets, I guess. But I killed some cows and a creeper, slept in a bed for day 99. Now this was our final 10 minutes of this world for this video. So I filled it with iron frames, made a giant pile of ore, sat on my throne for one last time, turned up the FOV so I could see all the ore, and climbed to the top of my mountain, where I would prepare to watch the sunset, sleep in a bed, and we'd have day 100 before I knew it. So I sat here for a second, admiring the mess we've made in that corner, the great thing we made in this corner, and I watched the sunset for way too long, like 5 minutes. But before I knew it, it was finally time to sleep in the bed, so we could go move on to day 100. I put on my elytra and got in the bed because it was time to sleep this night away for the last time. It was day 100. This has been a long time coming, but I was so excited to see what we had done, and just look at this thing. We have done so much in 100 days. We got an elytra, we beat the Ender Dragon, we conquered the Nether, and most importantly, we built this massive castle all in 100 days. I am super happy with this, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff. And if you enjoyed this video, click on this video, which is either a 200 days video or it's a video of me cleaning up the ocean for Team C's in 100 days. Anyways, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.